Peace, love, and light, family. We even welcome the darkness because we turn the darkness into light. So we're grateful for the duality, for the presence, for your being here. I am grateful if you are tuned into this live recording. My name is Savvy L. I'm an intuitive guide. And I'm here to just give a Savvy Soul confirmation. We do have the full moon in Aquarius here present. We're in the energy, we're in the mist. I love to do these for the collective, and this is all about the collective. So we're going to tune into the energy, the frequency. We're going to just do this live and open. No no pre-scene, no pretense. Just a fresh, clean slate. I'm over here shuffling some cards. Okay, so I'm just going to ask for you to take some deep breaths. As you become present. Opening up your lungs, opening your heart to receive these messages that we have today. It is July 28th, 2026. All my readings are timeless. Right now it is 4:24, located here in Belize. Wherever this message reaches you, again, I pray that it reaches you in a moment of peace, love, and understanding. If you feel unbalanced right now, I bring regulation. We bring balance just by bringing awareness to your mental. We ask that all messages are channeled with clarity. We ask for discernment. We ask for protection. We are grateful and thankful for this time and for this space. I do feel like this period is a really kind of tough period from different views, from different ways. Tough from looking from the outer perspective, kind of watching some things, whether you're watching things on the scene, on TV, social media, just the overall exposure, or whether you're dealing from things internally. Maybe communication could have been difficult. In my last reading, I talked about needing to actually speak about some things, not holding things in or letting it reach a certain boiling point. We even talked about some behavior showing up, patterns, even episodes where it might be expressed as something that looks psychotic, or where you're looking at the psychology, the nature of, maybe psychiatric. If this wasn't you, this could have been some type of energy that you are dealing with or could be dealing with. These were some of the influences that I remember. We talked a lot about not only harnessing your power, but directing your power, being able to utilize your power in the most efficient, optimal way. We also talked about there being an increase of death tolls we did see, and we talked about some initiations taking place, which I do see kind of moving forward ever since July kind of started. Just watching some things on social media, it does definitely feel like there's a lot of different initiations taking place. Maybe a big initiation that is broken up or done in a multitude or many different ways. Right? Kind of like slices being served, but it's a bigger, comes from a bigger whole, you know. Anyway, let's tune into this energy. It's not really an anyway, it's and a way, you know. Oh, let's tune into this energy. Let's see what's going on as you continue to take breaths. Know that this is for the collective, but it can resonate with you as you see yourself within it all. Let's see, what spirit wanting to bring our attention to right now. During this full moon, if you hear this construction kind of happening in the back, bear with me. Too many cards. It's like it really direct. Ooh. I do feel like there's a lot of things happening. A lot of things happening. Spirit's like, which way do we want to take it? Okay, so we're going to go with the air element, which we did talk about the mental, the mind. The mental, the mind, the thoughts, the ideas. Kind of just seeing it from where creation actually starts. You know, it all starts in the mind. That initiation, the initial thought, your initial thought process is what Spirit is talking about. And I feel like there's some realizations about your thoughts, how you really perceive things, how you view things, how it makes sense to you, how it resonates with you. I do feel like this is really analytical. This is meaning that it's something that you have had to take some time to evaluate, to really consider, to not just make a really fast type of decision, but something that you really had to give thought to, something that you had to give credit to, something that you had to again break down into pieces. I say, going back to the whole, that this is a collective, right? But it is broken down into slices, and those slices are served to individuals. But just because you're served your portion, you have to remember that that portion that you're being served came from a whole pie, 3.14. Okay, and that 3.14 is just a point within many, because it speaks to the numeric value, right? So I feel like this is really big. Like, it gets down to the physics, to the metaphysics, um, to the science, to the degrees, to the math. Like, they say the math is mathing type of thing, right? But like, it's very in depth and it's very in detail, right? It's like problem solving, if you will. This is the type of thoughts, this is the type of ideas that Spirit is talking about. And like I said, this ultimately, um, these thoughts lead to decisions. These decisions are a reflection of actions, right? The decisions that you make create actions, they create initiations, they literally create your experience based off your decisions. Your decisions coming from your thoughts, from your mind, from your mental. So again, we've been really analytical and looking at these things very uh, detailed, really breaking it down, really seeing it from a different point of view, really using the metaphysics, the science, the tools, the resources. You could be looking at things like your signs to discover more about yourself, understanding more that you're not just your sun sign, that you do have a Mercury sign, you do have a Mars sign, you do have a Venus. You have different influences, you have different elements, you have different chemistries, you have different reactions and responses. You have different emotions. You're just learning yourself and understanding yourself and understanding others. This also speaks to your relationships, your connections, the agreements, because your decisions um, are ties. Your decisions are ties. They're cords, and those cords attach. They're attachments, right? And those attachments attach to people, places, and things. So those people, places, and things speak to your agreements. They speak to, this could speak to some of your businesses. Like I said, relationships, intimate relationships, platonic relationships, family dynamics. Um, you know, Again, your creations, remembering that your thoughts surface from your creations. Even in my last reading, I was talking about taking self control, taking accountability for your thoughts, recognizing and realizing these things, because it was important that we did not become, what was it, like impulsive, not like irrational. Because this is why we talked about the psychiatric or the mental, because there's a irrational and rational point, right? So we're looking at it from this way. Irrational and rational can also be broken down to conscious and unconscious, aware and unaware, connected and disconnected, right? Just consider all the dualities in those realms, no matter how you look at it. This says working with the air elements in any capacity. When I work with the air elements, I like to really, like for me, I listen to the wind. I'm one that listens and channels with the wind. Just as much as water and air work together. So I not only just, when directed in working with the air element, I'm often recognizing the relationships and partnerships, because air works with and combines with and mixes with the other elements in different ways, whether it likes to or not. It's just how it works. So I become more aware of that, right? And it then welcomes in other natural abilities and gifts, So I feel like this is very much a spiritual calling. Some of you could be experiencing your own initiations or activations. I have the water bearer here. The water bearer, I can speak to Aquarius, which we feel those influences and impacts most definitely, right? We also have Jupiter here, which we have placed in Leo, and we have Cancer present as well, which we know the sun is in Cancer. Actually, my birthday has passed. That means we are actually in Leo season. So this is me acknowledging. I kind of already acknowledged, but I'm a Cancer, Sun, Leo, Moon. So it's always my birthday during this season. It doesn't really transition for me. And again, finding that fine line. This is what that water bearer is all about. Finding that fine line. I would really highlight Aquarius to have the air element with the water bearer actually highlighted together. Is definitely giving me this Aquarius energy, which again speaks to the collective, that innovative thought. It also makes me consider partnerships, but the first partnership that you have is really that mirror. Normally time you say your first partnership is the relationship with your mother because that's the first bond, that's the first thing that you ever felt was the connection to your mother. Um, but I'm also feeling like before that is the connection to thyself, right? So there's could be a different way of how you're seeing yourself or perceiving yourself or understanding yourself or working yourself or moving yourself. Maybe due to this new awareness or consciousness, it is causing you to, lead, move in a different way. This could be like what leads or moves you, or maybe naturally seeing how you lead or move others. Some of you could be called to teach. As we know, I just feel like there's a change in like the system and the finances. There's a lot of people being called out of different positions. I did talk about like job changes in the last collective, so this could actually be more of a reflection towards teachers as well. And so it's like you have teachers that see themselves as teachers. They're labeled teachers. They are maybe placed in school houses where they're classified as teachers because they look like teachers, and that's my teacher. Okay, then you have teachers that are just natural teachers. They might not call themselves teachers or see themselves teachers. They might not even realize that they're in the classroom. They're just placed in the world, in the universe, in the community, on the phone, and just their nature, their essence, their aura, what they give off naturally teaches. And so it's really embracing the fact that, wow, I am a teacher. I am a leader. And these could be some affirmations that are really good to embrace at this time when you're working with that I am. Um, this could be like a leader or uh, of a tribe or a movement. There could be some movements taking place, or you might notice that maybe a large group or some type of group or collective is really responding, moving towards, or maybe reacting, or to you. Like there's some type of dynamic that you're able to see because of the relationship, because of the reflection, because of maybe the bond. This could maybe even be something that's in your bloodline, or like when you feel like you're being called, but this is like a blood calling. Like it comes from deep within. It's like a match. You can say it feels like a match. So again, this could speak to like family dynamics, family ties. This could also speak to like certain truth. Like I said, you're learning certain aspects, certain things about yourself or these relationships and these dynamics and like all of this, because it's a lot. It's not just one thing. It's a lot. It would be hard for me to express all of it. So you would just kind of have to feel this energy and relate and just imagine how far this can roll. You right? And just as far as the energy alone, it goes deep, like water deep. And the depths is dependent on how far you're willing to step. Like meaning that it has to be determined, right? So this goes back to decisions, determinations, that thought process, right? That leads to the final decision, that leads to the outcome, that leads to the action, that leads to the creation, the manifestation, if you will. It says heal yourself so that you can heal them. You know, and it kind of made me go back to let's see. So that's how we're starting off. That's how we're starting off. And I know awareness has really been big. Hold on, my phone is ringing. That's why. Awareness. Let's see. I'm not sure if the video messed up. I guess I'll just keep going and I'll find out if it messed up or not. Just keep going and find out if it messed up or not. Trust the process. Okay, boom. What else comes out? Direction and timing. So I remember saying, like, kind of being the lead or recognizing your leadership. And I talked about kind of like the calling, but the calling coming from like the inner, like a blood calling. And so this is like very much on time. This is not something that just happens. I guess it can happen suddenly, but know that this bless me. Something much greater. Why much? Remember, like I said, the pieces, the slices, like the stars. Each star, and each star, one you might hone in and tune into one star, but the thing is that one star is sitting in such a vast, sitting amongst many. You know, it's like the wholeness. Look at that. You know, it's everything that it is to make spirit be all that it is. It's like something for you to really think about, something for you to consider. These could be your thoughts. Your thoughts could be like on deeper levels. You could be more in like your, you know, again, metaphysical, deep, invested thought, you know, thinking from different aspects, maybe getting downloads. Some of you might benefit from doing a cleanse, maybe to assist, pouring that water, pouring that cleanse over your head, over your crown, protecting your crown, right? Purifying. This has a lot to do, yes, purifying. Some of you might be called to wear white. You might be called to wear white. That might last for a certain amount of days, you know. That might be through a certain space or period of time. Hearing some construction. I'm not going to make this reading too long. I don't even know if it's still recording. Let's see. Let's see, what else do we have here? It's like, I feel like I really don't have much to say. I feel like it's really coming together. I feel like these things are really showing itself. I feel like for those that maybe this is not an easy time, maybe it's a little hard for you. or challenging, maybe some difficulty, you know. This is where I'm giving you some thought, some food for thought. You know, this is a time where you might just kind of take it easy just a bit. Take it easy just a bit, you know. I'm not saying don't work or don't do or, you know, not be lazy, but just give it some room for thought so that we can really gain a hold of everything that's happening and everything that is. We can process, we can digest, we can, you know, kind of like, okay, let me let me chill, right? So I can get a balance on this so that I can have the best outcome. And this outcome is going to come with structure, it's going to come with order, it's going to come with discipline. I mean, when I say confirmation, no matter how you see it, vertical, horizontal, it is going to come all together. And you can rest assured. You can rest assured. So this is like rest assured, you know, continue to do the work. Don't become lazy. It's not that. It's just you can be at peace. You can be cool. You can be chill, if that makes sense, right? Maybe that puts you at ease by hearing this. Maybe you can take this pressure off. If it doesn't take the pressure, maybe if this is a time where you're in need of that pressure is either going to make you or it's going to break you. So thank God for the pressure. If it makes you, thank God. If it breaks you, thank God, you know? Again, I'm not going to make this too long. I'm going to go through these decks, though. I'm going to tune in. I don't know how this is going to come out. I got a phone call in between, and I'm not sure if it messed up our reading, but we're going to keep moving. You're going to continue to move forward. There could be an influence on motorcycles or bikes. Remember I told you, I said you could hear that something in the background, and I did think it was like I thought it was like machinery, like tools or something, but then the more I listened, it did sound like a motorcycle. So there could be some influences on a motorcycle, maybe somebody that rides a motorcycle that you know or that you're ready to ride a bike. There could be some changes in transportation. Maybe a bike might serve you a little more than a car right now, something of that nature, you know. But again, there's something about motion and movement, how you're moving. Sometimes, you know, bikes and things can move around things much differently. They can move through tighter spaces, you know, so it gives you a little bit more access. It gives you a little bit more motion where there's traffic for most. Maybe there's no traffic for you. You know what I'm saying? You can move in between those spaces through those polarities, through those dualities. You understand? There's takes a lot of like. Remember, I said analytical, strategic. It's a strategic. You have to be strategical. This is why you need a motherfucker like me on your side. You know, so contact Savvy L's, book your one-on-one, get your spiritual guidance, think about a membership, do those things. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes strategy. It takes discipline, right? I said for sure it's gonna be like in order. It's gonna be in line, alignment, and it doesn't matter whether the line is vertical, and it doesn't matter if the line is horizontal. It's gonna be in alignment. It's gonna be in order. It's gonna have the dimensions. It's gonna have the depth. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna, you know, you're gonna know what the X is, you're gonna know what the Y is, you're gonna be able to solve for the equation, you're gonna gain the results. The results are going to be rewarding, it's going to be fulfilling. You know, you have to find balance, you have to find ease. This pressure is either made to make you or break you, it's going to make you rise or fall. Whatever it does is what's supposed to be. So, you know, find some rest, find some ease in that if you can. To each their own, because, you know, what's difficult to one is not difficult to another, you know. High Priestess. You know, I do know that August 1st through the 7th, there is a universal social media detox. We're cutting off, we're tuning all offline so that we can go online, right, into a different timeline. So this might be the time to come up off the online, you know, or maybe use different modes of transportation, communication, things like that. Just a different flow and motion of how you're moving, you know. this moon, you'll gain directions, you'll gain guidance. There's a lot of listening. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to take instructions. You got to be able to be obedient. You got to know when and where to take actions, okay? Because if you know how to do this, then you will receive the results and the rewards like I'm talking about. And if you don't, if you're still just trying, you ain't been listening, you've been maybe moving in a different direction, you know, I don't know what your celebrations have looked like or what you've been celebrating, what you've been working on, right? This is for you to determine the value. This is all about you determining the value. What's valuable to me might not be valuable to you. Values have been changed and they're different for everyone. People are learning the true value, you understand? So that could be what this has to do. And yeah, for some, that could be very difficult. It could be different. It can be challenging. It can make you have to walk away. Like I said in the last reading, there could be layoffs and things, that conditions the environment, maybe even medical that makes you have to do different, Stress alone can force you to have to make some changes, especially when it blocks and breaks your ability to create. And this is why teachers are there and guides are there to help you learn how to make the most of it, to show you how to birth those creations or see a creation when there is one, most importantly, right? Somebody could be pregnant, or there could be I don't feel like this is like a new finding out that you're pregnant, but rather in a specific space or term in your pregnancy. Maybe you're transforming from trimester in your pregnancy. I see balance and regulation. I see support or a need to even maybe get grounded, understanding where your support comes from, understanding how to, again, utilize yourself efficiently. Like I said, for some, this definitely could be a challenging time. For others, it might not be. It all depends on you, how you see, how you do, how you move. If you've been moving funny, I can't tell you what's going to end the best for you because you was moving funny. You know what you was doing. You know what you was doing. You know how you was doing it. And if you wasn't moving funny, if you've been moving right and righteous and you've been doing what you need to do, how you need to do it, you've been listening, you've been obedient, then I know that you'll be all right, you understand how to transmute and you understand the purification taking place. So you're going with the rebirth, you're in the rebirth, you're a part of the rebirth, you're creating the rebirth, you're a part of it, you understand the ring fire that's taking place, why it's so difficult for others, why it's easier for some, you understand the release in the integration. Remember I told you the air element works well with other elements, and as you work with the air, you get to see what element it's working with, whether it's working with the air, the water, whether it's working with the fire. I'm here to confirm that it could very much be the fire at work. Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. Ashe, we're going to end it there.